What's up, guys? So, we are in my new garage, which is really cool. It's so satisfying to finally have my own space to really work on the car. Obviously, I'm sharing a little bit with my roommates and things like that, but overall, it's you know, a great two-car garage I'm going to be able to do a lot of projects out of. And we still have to do a little bit with the lighting situation. It's a little dark in here, but we got a window over here for now, and I can always open the garage door for more light for now. But yeah, so this video is going to be going over my experience with the last upgrade we did before the move. So just to summarize everything, I went up to Bren Tuning and I had a couple different things done while I was up there. What I did was what they did was a flex fuel tune. I did the install of the kit myself. I also added and I'll link this install video right down here, or up in the corner here, one of these corners. The DW65C fuel pump and the flex fuel kit itself. So I did both of those on my end. Drove the car up to Bren Tuning, and they did the flex fuel tune on ethanol, and then they also did a cleanup package. So they did a new clutch for me. It's the South Bend Daily Stage 3. I also did the upgraded billet shifter, or the fork, the shift fork, and then also they did a new throwout bearing, an upgraded aftermarket throwout bearing with a good, I think it's an upgraded sleeve around it. So all those components feel absolutely amazing. I'll talk about that a little bit later also. But the other thing they did was a carbon cleaning. So they did the walnut blasting on my intake valves, which is very, very helpful on these cars. And then also I had the AOS, which I installed a while ago. And now that we have those tops of the valves cleaned off, the car's been running absolutely amazing. I haven't had those before. I was having some hiccups at idle randomly, and I think it was because of that carbon buildup. But now I have the AOS, which will help reduce any additional carbon being deposited onto the top of the valves now. So all those things were done. After that, I moved to Colorado, so here I am now at the new location. Surprisingly enough, the car is actually running really, really well, even with the altitude. It does feel a little down on power, obviously because you're losing some oxygen, but with these turbocharged cars, you know, you'll lose maybe 5–10% of the power up here at altitude, where there's around 15% less. In the town I'm in, it's about 15 to 16% less oxygen in the air. So overall, car is running absolutely amazing. But let me pause here and talk about what you guys really want to hear about, which is how much more power did I make on ethanol. So before I tell you guys, let's show you a couple of driving clips here. The car really feels just absolutely amazing. It really pulls in the top end and just feels so good, so smooth. So I'll put those clips in right here. So the last video I did where I mounted the camera above me, the last couple clips, they didn't really come out very good, and it didn't really show how fast and what it really sounds like. So let me see if this angle is going to do any better. Here's a nice cold start, well, semi-cold start. This exhaust setup is perfect. It's not too loud, it's definitely not too quiet, and but it's slide under the radar. If you're
you're too obnoxious, you're gonna get pulled over, and you really don't want that. So, all right, let me go for a little drive here, and hopefully you guys can hear some of the sounds that I'm hearing with my ears when I'm driving. So I don't know if you could hear that, but you clutch in after a hard acceleration and you get a lot of nice pops. On ramp to the highway. Don't really know how busy it's gonna be. I might have to hold the camera, but dude, the top end of third, it just pulls. Oh my goodness. This is fourth. Just feels immaculate. Just absolutely amazing. Second gear. Oh my god, I really need to figure out some kind of mount for this camera, because having to reach up and grab it so it doesn't fly off my dashboard is not working for me. But that being said, I wasn't able to go all the way up into the top of the RPM band because obviously I didn't want a red line, so I had to. Regardless, feels amazing. Again, 92 degrees, dam's at 1. I have no knock, no feedback, nothing. And I had my AC on by accident too. So car just feels brutal. It's amazing. I hands down cannot recommend enough getting a flex fuel tune.
Yeah, so like I said, I need to upgrade my setup for, I think I'm gonna buy a GoPro, because right now I'm just using this camera mount up between the two headrests, between the two front seats, and just shows that. But I don't think the sound quality is the greatest. So I'm gonna try to figure out a way to, film that a little better. I wanna give you guys an exhaust clip from the GoPro like we've done in previous videos. But the video really doesn't do it justice. It sounds and feels so good. You can hear the turbo spool a lot more cleanly on ethanol because they're able to push it a little bit harder. I'm seeing peak boost around 21.5 psi to 22 in the summer. So it'll drop off in the winter because the air is colder and denser. But right now in the summer when the air is really thin, because it's warmer, you're gonna see some higher boost levels, and you're able to do that because of ethanol. Ethanol is, it has a much higher knock resistance than 91 or 93. It's a much more reliable fuel. It helps with cylinder cooling, it helps with intake temperature cooling. Overall, it's really a great option. In terms of power, keep in mind that I'm not running the front mount intercooler yet. I'm still on the stock top mount, so there is a little bit more to go. Maybe 15 to 20 more wheel horsepower with the front mount added. So I'm still waiting on that to come in, but it should be coming in the next week or two. And what I'll do is I'll actually do an E-tune adjustment when I add that on, and during that time, Bren Tuning will adjust for the altitude and then also for the added front mount intercooler. So we'll be doing some E-tuning for those two things. But even now, without the adjustment, like I said, it runs great. But to answer the question that everyone's asking, On Bren Tuning's dyno, I made 391 wheel horsepower on E60. Yeah, I think it was like E62, I think it was. And I think it was 370 wheel torque. Anyways, so I just looked up I have the picture of the dyno sheet. It's buried somewhere in a box, but so 391 wheel horsepower, 356 torque. So to keep the FA platform reliable, the best way to not, bend a rod or spin a bearing or something like that is to keep the torque down. The other thing that you can do is, basically you're lowering the initial torque overall across the entire power band, and just allowing the car to be, basically pushing more of the power higher into the RPM band, and doing those two things will help keep it reliable and not blow up. So obviously making sure you're doing good oil changes and things like that, making sure you're running quality ethanol, good gas, making sure you're checking intake temps, and basically not hammering on the car, going full throttle and low RPMs. So doing all those things, so it's driving habits, but also the way the car's tuned and set up. All those things kind of combine to produce, a reliable car that's not gonna blow up. So yeah, so they obviously could have pushed for higher torque, but they settled on 356 because that's what they saw as safe and reliable. And I've said this in past videos, chasing numbers is kind of, chasing numbers can be pretty dangerous for your car and for your wallet. What's the difference between, would you rather have a car that's completely reliable and, bulletproof, a bulletproof engine that is at 390, or do you want a car at 405 or 410, 15, 20 horsepower more that has the chance of blowing up, right? Like, are you really going to enjoy that car that much more? Yeah, I don't think so. So my philosophy is trust your tuner, listen to what they have to say, and reliability and longevity on your car and your engine is always going to be more important. So yeah, just to recap, the tune, the amount of power, it's absolutely worth it. I'll touch on really quick the difference between a flex fuel tune and a E-tune, or I'm sorry, like an ethanol tune. So a flex fuel, I can run anything from pure 91 octane all the way up through around E65 is the absolute max I could run. Just for better wear and tear on the gas lines, the fuel pumps, high pressure, low pressure, all of that. I'm sticking between E50 and E60. That's the blend that I'm running right now. The ethanol I get from the pump is E70. So if it fluctuates a little lower, it's perfect. And I just end up running a little bit more gasoline, just like 1 gallon of gasoline to all the rest of it is E70 or whatever it is. So like I said, with the flex fuel, I don't have to worry about the exact measurement. It's going to update its own tune and run itself however it needs to, depending on what level of ethanol is in the gas tank. And that's just even more reliability. Like I said, you have a fluctuation in gas quality, but the tune is gonna adjust. If you have one of those off-the-shelf E30 or E60 tunes, you have to maintain that level of ethanol. And if you don't, problems. You're gonna have dam drop, you're gonna start seeing some knock, and it's just much more reliable to go with the flex fuel kit. Obviously, they're a little bit harder to find right now. And they are expensive because you have to pay for the kit itself and then for the tune. I don't know how much they charged me exactly for the tune itself, but I think it was $500 or $600. I had all that work done all together, so I don't really know what the breakdown was, but for each a little bit. But the clutch, let me talk about that. Clutch feels absolutely amazing. When you have the upgraded billet fork, Basically the springs in the, like the assist springs for the pedal actually can do their job better. So if you run the OEM fork on a more aggressive clutch, you're gonna run into issues where the clutch pedal is gonna feel heavier, but also that clutch fork could bend over time. So that's the reason I went with the upgraded billet one. And the actual clutch feel in the cabin, it actually feels slightly lighter. It needs to break in, obviously, but right now it feels actually slightly lighter than what my previous clutch did. I had 65,000 miles on that clutch, the previous one, so it was really worn and pretty old. But even for a stage 3 clutch, I mean, it really feels fine. I haven't tried launching it yet. I might make a video on that, learning how to launch it, but yeah, I'm really happy. If you guys are in the Northeast or anywhere and wanted to do a tune with Bren, they are absolutely amazing. I've worked with them a couple times now and I just love their work. So thank you guys for watching. I might do a couple more little driving clips here, but I want to do just a sit down talk. I'll probably do another video once I get the new camera set up to really show you guys what driving this car is like. There are some maintenance things that I actually have to do before I start driving it really hard. I'll talk to you guys about that in another video, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, make sure you please hit the subscribe button. We got tons of more content coming on my side and also from Kyle's side. So thank you guys, and we will see you next week.